An online store can be profitable on paper and still run out of cash. That statement confuses a lot of new store owners because they assume profit and cash flow are the same thing. They are not. Profit is an accounting concept that measures whether your revenues exceed your expenses over a period. Cash flow is about timing, specifically when money enters and leaves your bank account. A store that orders $10,000 in inventory in January, receives and pays for it in February, and sells it over March through May might show a profit for the quarter, but in February, when the $10,000 supplier invoice is due and sales have not started yet, the bank account is empty. This video explains how cash flow works in e-commerce, why profitable stores still run into cash crunches, and the practical steps you can take to manage cash flow so your business survives long enough to enjoy its profits. Cash flow in e-commerce is driven by 3 cycles: the inventory cycle, the sales cycle, and the payout cycle. The inventory cycle starts when you place an order with your supplier and ends when you sell the last unit from that order. During this cycle, your cash is locked up in physical products. The longer inventory sits unsold, the longer your cash is unavailable for other expenses. If you order 3 months of inventory at once, you have 3 months of cash tied up. If you order 1 month at a time, you free up cash faster but pay more in shipping and potentially miss volume discounts. The sales cycle is the time between when a customer places an order and when you receive the money. For stores using their own website with a standard payment processor, funds typically arrive in your bank account within 2 to 3 business days. But if you sell on a marketplace like Amazon, the payout cycle can be 2 weeks or longer. Amazon holds your funds and releases them on a bi-weekly schedule, minus their fees and any reserves they hold for potential returns or claims. This delay means that even if you are selling steadily, the cash from those sales does not reach your bank account in real time. The gap between when you pay for expenses and when you receive revenue from sales is your cash conversion cycle. A negative cash conversion cycle means you receive payment from customers before you pay your suppliers, which is ideal. A positive cash conversion cycle means you pay suppliers before you receive customer payments, which requires working capital to bridge the gap. Most small e-commerce businesses have a positive cash conversion cycle of 30 to 90 days, meaning they need enough cash reserves or credit to cover 1 to 3 months of expenses before sales revenue catches up. The most common cash flow problems in e-commerce come from inventory purchases, seasonal demand patterns, and unexpected expenses. Inventory is by far the largest cash outflow for most product businesses. A store that is growing fast faces a paradox: the more you sell, the more inventory you need to buy, and those inventory purchases must happen before the sales revenue arrives. Growth, counterintuitively, consumes cash. A store selling 100 units per month that grows to 300 units per month needs to triple its inventory investment, but the sales revenue from those 300 units arrives weeks or months after the inventory bill is due. Seasonal demand creates a different cash flow challenge. If your business generates 60% of its annual revenue in the fourth quarter, you need to buy enough inventory to stock up before the holiday rush, which means a massive cash outflow in September or October. Your cash reserves are at their lowest point right before your highest revenue period. If you do not plan for this, you either run out of stock during peak season and miss sales, or you borrow money at high interest rates to fund the inventory purchase, which eats into your margins. Unexpected expenses are the third cash flow risk. A supplier raises prices. A batch of products has a defect and needs to be returned or discounted. Your ad platform requires a larger deposit. A key piece of equipment breaks. A customs delay holds your shipment for 3 extra weeks. Each of these events creates an unplanned cash outflow or delays an expected cash inflow. Without a cash buffer, any one of these events can put your store in a position where you cannot pay rent, payroll, or your next supplier invoice. Returns also affect cash flow in ways that are easy to overlook. When a customer returns a product, you refund the purchase price, but you have already paid for shipping, payment processing, and potentially return shipping. The returned product may not be resaleable at full price. The refund leaves your bank account immediately, but recouping the loss happens gradually as you resell the product, if you can resell it at all. Managing cash flow in e-commerce does not require complex financial engineering. It requires visibility, planning, and discipline. Start with a simple cash flow forecast. Create a spreadsheet with 2 columns for each week over the next 12 weeks, expected cash inflows and expected cash outflows. Cash inflows include projected sales revenue based on your recent weekly averages, adjusted for any known seasonal patterns. Cash outflows include supplier payments, rent, subscriptions, payroll, ad spend, and any other regular expenses. The difference between inflows and outflows each week shows you your projected cash balance. If any week shows a negative balance, you need to take action before that week arrives, not after. Negotiate payment terms with your suppliers whenever possible. Instead of paying 100% upfront, ask for net 30 or net 60 terms, which mean you pay 30 or 60 days after receiving the inventory. Even a partial deferral, such as 50% upfront and 50% upon delivery, improves your cash position significantly. Suppliers are often willing to negotiate terms with established customers who have a reliable payment history. Start the conversation after your 3rd or 4th order. Maintain a cash reserve equal to at least 6 to 8 weeks of operating expenses. This buffer protects you from seasonal dips, unexpected costs, and the natural variability of e-commerce revenue. Build this reserve gradually by setting aside a fixed percentage of revenue each month before spending on growth. 10% of revenue directed into a separate reserve account is a practical starting point for most small stores. Finally, monitor your actual cash position weekly, not monthly. Compare your actual cash inflows and outflows against your forecast and update the forecast with real numbers. This 15-minute weekly review prevents surprises and gives you early warning when cash is getting tight. The stores that survive their first 2 years are not the ones with the highest revenue. They are the ones that understand the difference between profit on paper and cash in the bank, and manage both deliberately. Ecom Margin School teaches the business side of online stores, product margins, pricing, fulfillment, conversion, email retention, product pages, and customer experience. The channel focuses on practical e-commerce fundamentals, unit economics, and store improvement, not get-rich-quick promises. This video is general e-commerce education, not a guarantee of sales, profit, conversion lift, ROI, or business results. Outcomes vary by product, margin, traffic quality, pricing, fulfillment, customer service, and execution.